Welcome back to Learning Spanish with Mr. A. So, what you got here on the board is a very good, I would say, progression. It's like a progression. You see, we're going through the steps here, okay? We started with the past participles and we pretty much explained what they are, how they work, okay, in their regular form, right? That was 2 videos ago. If you follow the channel, make sure you go in the right order, okay? Then the second video was about the past participles, okay, in their irregular form, right? Now I want you to understand that we also emphasized that those past participles can be used as adjectives, okay? And that's where it gets a bit confusing, because in Spanish you have a gender that applies to the nouns, right? You understand that? A gender that applies to the nouns, meaning that when you're going to use your past participle, it's going to describe a noun. And by doing so, it's going to describe the gender of that noun, right? So at that level right here, we were dealing with the gender applied onto the adjective through the noun. And that was a fun game, because you would change your O for the A and vice versa, you see? And then you got into the irregular forms, which is, well, a challenge, but it is what it is. It's still something that, well, we have to memorize, all right? Yeah, I had to do it, you can have to do it too, I'm so sorry, okay? That's it, there's no way around it, because now, all this wonderful talk that we've been going through takes you all the way to the tense called the present perfect, okay? Now, the present perfect relates to an action that started in the past in a way, but that is still affecting the present time, as I say it. If I said to you, I have studied for my quiz, I have studied for my quiz. Well, you think about it, it's an action that started before. I did it before. But in the process of studying, whether I studied right or wrong, well or not well, it's going to affect my present, action. All right, so that's what we call it the present perfect. So now what you must understand is that in Spanish, when we talk about the verb to have, we usually use the verb tener as a given. This tense comes later on in Spanish too, when you reach towards the end of the, I would say the year, the school year, so basically this is like in the very last term, if you want to put it this way, last semester, whatever we got there. And so what you're going to do here is you're going to have to understand that with this particular tense here, you have to use the verb haber. Haber is actually another way of saying to have in Spanish, okay? And not only that, but it's irregular. Now you know very well that in Spanish, the H is going to be silent. So let's conjugate haber together. Come on, give it a shot. Has, ha, hemos, habéis, han. And basically the formula here for the present perfect is that you're going to take haber, that you're going to conjugate in the present tense, simple present tense, as you have it right here, okay? And then you're going to add the past participle, all right? Now, the past participle can be either way, regular or irregular. You've seen it, okay? We talked about it. If the verb ends with the AR, I took the example of hablar. Well, then you're going to replace the AR with ado. If the verb ends with the ER, such as comer, then you're going to replace the ER with ido. If the verb ends with IR, then you're going to replace the IR with ido, okay? But that applies to the regular past participle, okay? So that's the easiest, I would say, approach to the present perfect. You may want to call that the regular present perfect, because the next step is going to be when you come up with those irregular forms that you looked at before in the previous video, where you have the past participles, right? But in their irregular form, meaning that you can no longer add the ado or the ido, okay, to the end of the infinitive, okay? You don't do that here. You just got to remember the spelling as it is, which is irregular, and then you're going to apply it, well, to the sentence. You're going to start the sentence with the verb haber, and then you're going to carry on with the past participle in its irregular form. You understand? So you take the verb haber plus the past participle to get to the present perfect. That said, that past participle can either way be regular or irregular. It's up to you whether you want to learn the list of irregular forms that you have here or not. I suggest you do so for your own good, because you need it, all right? So here, I try to make it simpler for you guys. I wrote down 2 sentences, all right? See, basically one, I've got my regular here, past participle, so I brought it down here, and I came up with a sentence in English she has spoken to Alma. Okay, so it's going to translate in Spanish as with. Okay, so the two is going to become con, not a. All right, él ha hablado con Alma. So what you got here, third singular, right? He, él, accent on the e, right? Subject pronoun. Then the verb haber in the third singular, okay? Simple present tense. And then the verb hablar, which is an AL verb, where you replace the AR with ado, and you end up with hablado. He has spoken to Alma. Él ha hablado con Alma. You see my point I'm trying to make, the point I'm really trying to make here is that you learn step by step, okay? And then you add all the steps together, or one brick at a time, and then you eventually get a full-scale wall, right? Now look at this. Number 2 here, I emphasize, of course, you're going to use the verb haber. You're going to use haber as well, as you know it, in the simple present tense. But then you may have a situation like the one you got here, okay, where you have to use to return, all right, devolver, which is right here, okay? Devolver, which is an irregular form, right? So that spelling that you see here is an irregular spelling, which is going to make it a challenge for you, where you have to memorize it, and then bring it up, okay? And you're going to say ella, she, all right? Third singular, subject pronoun, ha devuelto su libro. Now look at this. I said devuelto, and I did not use the past participle as an adjective here, even though the subject is she. Because what we're doing here, we're using it within the tense itself. So when you use the past participles within the tense, within the present perfect, you're going to have to leave them with the O ending. You will change the O to an A only if you're going to be using them as an adjective. Okay? All right, so, well, this is it. So I hope you can grasp the concepts here that you've got and can put it all together. And I want to thank you for watching this new video again. So as a recap, we have just been through the present perfect, right, with the regular and the irregular past participles. It's a done deal. It's pretty good. Thank you for your time. If you did not understand, okay, you can always join me on my, find me on my Facebook page. Yeah, I do check from time to time, and I will reply something to you. Yeah. Other than that, you know, just you can always click again and watch it again. Okay, so hey, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hasta luego.